What's going on, guys? So in today's video, we're going to be doing a quick SPAC update and just going over quite a few different SPACs here. What's going on with them, recent news surrounding them, and what I think are good plays for each of these SPACs and my opinion on them. Before we get into it, if you guys don't mind just dropping a like and hitting subscribe, really helps out the channel, and thank you guys so much for all the support you're showing me. Definitely check out the links in the description. We have a free Discord server, and now we have, I believe, over 550 members in there, so it's pretty fun. We're always talking in there, and I created a ton of new SPAC channels to post, news surrounding that SPAC, so definitely check that out. Check out the links for some free stocks when you sign up with Robinhood or Webull, and also the community SpacTracker. Now let's get into it. So the first SPAC we're talking about today will be SHLL, and I'm super excited. We touched $53 today, but we ended the day, today we're up $5.51, and after hours we're only down about 76 cents. So awesome day for Shell. We really needed this, especially going into that ticker change. Super excited for Friday. That is the day the ticker will officially change to HYLN, and I really do think this thing will fly. This is the most anticipated SPAC merger of all time, and if we can get some good stimulus news and some positivity in the market, economically, that would really just raise the entire market and help this thing fly even more. Now, I do think FOMO will start to set in pretty soon here. We saw it towards the end of the day. As soon as this thing just started gaining some speed up, a lot of people started buying in, and there were a ton of green candlesticks towards the end of the day. You'll have to make your decision on whether you want to sell Friday or hold the weekend and play it into next week. That is definitely 100% up to you. So set your targets and really think about that and make your plan now. We also have job data coming out Friday, so hopefully this doesn't hurt us too much, and hopefully there isn't like a huge red Friday. Keep in mind, Fridays are usually sell-off days, just from what we've seen. Now, I did sell my 47.53 call debit spread, and that would be expiring 10/2, and I did make a very small profit of $45. I really wasn't too comfortable with it expiring this Friday, and the reason I bought it was because I thought the ticker was originally going to change on Wednesday. So I bought this Monday morning, and I just wanted to say it's okay to take profits as long as it makes you feel comfortable, and at least I didn't lose money. And I can always add another debit spread because they're typically pretty cheap plays, limited risk, and then your reward is capped, but usually they work out pretty nicely. So warrants for Hyliion are still good if you're long on the stock. I still think they're a pretty good play. Everything else is a bit too pricey now. When we did have that dip, even a week ago, it was pretty decent to still buy some call options or even pick up a couple shares. But everything else is too pricey now, and I think warrants are pretty much the only play here, or a call debit spread. Next up, we have CCXX, and this one really hasn't taken off yet. It's been lagging quite a bit, and the vote is coming up on 10/7, and if everything goes well, the ticker will change on 10/9. So I did pick up 85 shares while it's trading at such a discounted price, and I did this because there's very limited downside risk and uncapped potential. I do think this thing could hit $15 to $20 range, upon the merger, but we'll definitely see. I also have two call options. I have a 10 and a 12.5 strike price for November. And also Berkshire Hathaway is interested in this company, Multiplan, post-merger, which would be a huge catalyst. Now, I don't think the market really cares about this SPAC, no matter how big it is. So we'll just have to wait and see, but this is a big deal. So let's check out that article. So here's the article, and just to be clear, Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, they're not interested in CCXX, they're interested in Multiplan. So it does say here, Warren Buffett's dealmaker struck an $11 billion deal to acquire Multiplan this month, marking the biggest blank check takeover to date. So at that ticker change, and probably a few days or weeks after, hopefully we hear some good news from Berkshire Hathaway, and maybe that'll be a big catalyst to really pump this stock up. So we'll definitely see. So wrapping up CCXX, calls are cheap right now, and shares are cheap with limited risk. Warrants are cheap, but right now, shares are the better play, in my opinion, if you have the capital to buy the shares. On to LCA. We're definitely waiting for more news from the company on this, but I do think this vote and merge will happen mid-October. So I think my November calls are safe right now. I don't currently hold any shares, but I did pick up 100 warrants during the SPAC dip last week, and I'm already up on those warrants quite a bit. Now, if you think everything will go well with this, then options are currently a steal. If you like to play that game, keep in mind options are risky. And if not, then warrants are also a great way to play, a less risky call option substitute. Shares are also a great deal as well, as they're currently under $15. So, everything is cheap, and pick what you want if you believe that everything will go nicely for this merger. Okay, moving on to FMCI. Now, we are seeing FMCI hold around $25, which is pretty solid. Since last week, we did have that huge SPAC sell-off, and that was pretty much just a misunderstanding and some voting issues with them. And the entire SPAC, market sold off. So nothing to worry about there. They will be merging before October 30th, so I assume price and volume will start to pick up here in the next, few weeks, especially as people exit SHLL and GRAF Velodyne. Now, I did sell my FMCI shares at $28, but I will be holding my warrants and exercising them for a long-term play. I really do like the Tattooed Chef, and I think, they have a lot of potential. I also have an October 16th FMCI call, and I will be taking profits as soon as I'm in the money on this. Their merger did get delayed, and I definitely learned my lesson on this, and that's what I, always try to tell you guys. I should have pushed these out even further, but back when I bought this, they did not have the November calls, so, just keep that in mind. Always expect a delay when you're buying these things and learn from my mistakes. So my play here would be warrants as of right now, and I'll be adding more warrants as soon as possible. Hopefully this thing doesn't hit $28 tomorrow before I can add more, but, if it did, then at least I could take my profits on that call option. As for calls, they're pretty expensive, but I would go for November the 30 strike or January the 35 strike, and warrants are still pretty cheap. So next up we have GRAF, and as you guys can see here, they announced the closing of their business combination today, and they will begin trading tomorrow, Wednesday, September 30th, under VLDR and VLDRW. So that'll be the shares and the warrants. Now, I never got into GRAF. I was interested in them, but just, I never got in. I was occupied with other positions. But basically what I'm looking for here, so they're going to change their ticker tomorrow. I just want to see how the market reacts to that ticker change. Although it's nothing like SHLL, and the hype isn't the same, the industry's not the same, I'm basically just going to be watching to see what happens, and hopefully we get a positive catalyst on this ticker change, and we can kind of use that going into this next merger on Friday. So on to SPAC, and this is Fisker, and they're just trading under $15, and I think this thing could start to shoot up soon. Now, I'm not that interested in Fisker. I do like other EV plays better, but if you're interested in making some money on this, I think that's very doable. Now, I think this thing will start to work its way back to the $15 to $16 range here, and then maybe on some good news or announcement of a definitive vote date, then I could see it emerging into the high teens, low 20s again. And we've been hearing all along that they wanted to close mid-October, but they do have until February 2021, so I think that threw some people off. But looking at this article, it seems like they want to close this thing pretty soon here, and October is looking like that's going to be the case. Although this article is from September 22nd, I really do believe they will close this thing in October. It says that on September 11th, they filed their PRER 14A with the SEC, which is usually filed by companies ahead of a shareholders meeting. So the meeting is expected to be convened within days, where the shareholders will formally approve or reject the proposed merger with Fisker. So, I'm not exactly sure when that meeting will be held, or if it's already been held. Definitely let me know in the comments. But I do expect this thing to go through in October, and that will be another ticker change we have to look forward to. Right now, I don't have any shares or warrants with them, and all I have is a debit spread for February. So I'll probably just close that out as soon as I'm in the money on that, and probably won't play this one. So last up is DPHC, and now this is Lordstown Motors, and they've been pretty stable, and they should see that $30 price here pretty soon. The time to buy was last week during the SPAC sell-off when they dropped to $21. Now, I personally have never bought anything related to DPHC. Currently, options are too expensive, shares are too expensive, and even warrants are pricey if you're going to exercise them. So they are less than the shares. And if you have a positive outlook on this company, then definitely get into that. I just personally don't have enough buying power to get into this one as well. I have quite a few other positions that I'm waiting to close out as far as call options. And this is one that I just never gave that much attention to. And that could be a huge mistake. I see a lot of people really like this company and think it's the next meme stock that's really going to, blow up. And like I said, you can't always get into every single play. But hopefully those of you that are in this play get to receive some nice profits from it. And I really hope it does go up like, Hyliion has. So the only way I would get in this one as of right now would be through a call debit spread. And that's still a possibility. But as of right now, I'm just waiting to get my profits from these other call options, and then I'll decide. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just a quick SPAC update and a bit on what I think about these companies and my plays. Definitely check out the Discord server. I always post alerts on what I'm doing in the market and, just giving updates of everything going on. Would love to have you in there. We have over 550 members, and, it's free, so why not? So please like and subscribe, and have a good one.
Stacking vertical, ooh, counting sideways, ooh, ain't by my cake, ooh, get out my